We're in an era of massive investment in artificial intelligence, but there's a critical question hanging over every single boardroom. Why are so many of these AI projects failing to deliver on their promise? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is way more fundamental than you might think.
Right now, companies all over the world are pouring billions of dollars into AI. And the goal is pretty clear, right? They want to unlock new efficiencies, get a serious competitive advantage, and really just reshape their entire industries. The expectation is huge, but there's a massive gap between what's being spent and what's actually being delivered. And here's the stark reality. A shocking 85% of AI projects fail to deliver any real business value. Just let that sink in. Nearly 9 out of every 10 of these super expensive, high-stakes initiatives, they're just not hitting the mark. This isn't just a small issue. It's a full-blown business crisis.
So, that leads us to the big question. If it's not a lack of money or talent or even ambition, what is the real reason this keeps happening? What's the root cause?
Well, the thing is, these failures aren't random. They're not just bad luck. They actually follow very predictable patterns that can derail even the most brilliant AI models. And almost every time, these patterns start with one thing: the data.
It really all comes down to a principle that's as old as computing itself: garbage in, garbage out. An AI model might be this incredibly powerful engine, but the fuel it runs on is data. So if you're feeding it data that's inconsistent, incomplete, or just plain wrong, you can bet the results are going to be just as unreliable. The AI simply doesn't know any better.
And this problem really has two sides to it. On one hand, you've got the issue of poor data quality, which leads to flawed insights and bad decisions. But on the other hand, you've got these escalating compliance and security risks. Using data you don't fully understand or control isn't just inefficient, it can expose your entire organization to some pretty serious legal and financial trouble. And these risks, they create a whole cascade of business problems. Bad data leads to inaccurate models that give you unreliable forecasts. Then, when your stakeholders can't trust what the AI is telling them, they just won't use it. And if you can't explain why an AI made a certain decision, what we call the black box problem, you lose the confidence of your own executives and even regulators. But maybe the biggest hidden cost is that your best data scientists end up spending 80% of their time just cleaning up messy data instead of creating actual value.
So you have all these different symptoms popping up: inaccuracy, distrust, inefficiency. But every single one of them can be traced back to one critical gap in the overall strategy. There's a missing piece of the puzzle that's undermining everything else. And that missing piece is data governance. This is the strategic foundation that separates the AI initiatives that succeed from all the ones that fail. And it's not some technical add-on. It's a core business discipline.
So what is it exactly? Well, to put it simply, data governance is the whole framework. The policies, the roles, the standards that make sure your data becomes a trusted asset for the entire company. It's really about figuring out who is accountable for data quality and building the processes so that everyone can make confident, data-driven decisions.
The analogy is simple, but it's really powerful. You would never build a skyscraper on a weak foundation, right? The exact same thing is true for your AI strategy. Data governance is that solid bedrock. It supports everything you build on top of it, from your analytics to your most ambitious AI models. Now, a strong governance framework is built on a few key pillars. It means setting clear standards for data quality. It means defining who can access what data. It's also about tracking metadata and lineage, which is basically the who, what, when, and where of your data, so you can always trace it back to its source. And finally, it assigns clear ownership, so there's real accountability. So what happens when you actually put this foundation in place? Well, the impact is absolutely transformative. This is where you see the real return on investment. It's how the leading organizations are unlocking the true power of their AI. And here's the crucial point. Data governance isn't some constraint that slows you down. It's an accelerator. It's what takes your AI initiatives from being interesting little experiments and matures them into reliable, scalable, enterprise-grade solutions that actually drive the business forward. Just think about the impact on speed. Companies with strong data governance get their AI models deployed 3 times faster. Now, this isn't some small improvement. It's a huge acceleration because their teams are working with trusted, high-quality data from day one, which just slashes the time it takes to get from an idea to actual business value. And remember that 85% failure rate we talked about? Proper governance completely changes that picture. By making sure the data quality is high and by building trust from the very start, governance can reduce that project failure rate by up to 70%. It's the ultimate insurance policy for your AI investments. And finally, let's talk about the bottom line. When you combine better data quality, less rework, and faster decision-making, you get significant financial results. Enterprises with mature governance programs are reporting average annual savings of $2.5 million. This isn't just a best practice, it's a direct contributor to your profitability.
Okay, so we've covered the why and the what. Now let's get into the how. The top organizations all follow a pretty clear blueprint to build their AI success on that solid foundation of governance.
This framework is a proven path to success. First step, establish that governance framework before you do anything else, because that prevents a ton of costly rework later. Step 2, create a single source of truth for your data, which gets rid of silos and keeps everything consistent. Step 3, build in continuous monitoring, because data quality isn't a one-and-done fix. Step 4, foster collaboration across different departments to make sure your data strategy actually aligns with business goals. And once you've got those pillars in place, you can move to step 5, scaling your AI with confidence.
So ultimately, the message is really clear. The future of your company is going to be shaped by AI, but that future has to be built on a solid, stable, and trusted foundation of well-governed data. That's how you build for the long term.
And that brings us to the final critical question. The organizations that are going to win in this new age of AI are the ones laying this groundwork today. They're treating data governance not as a cost, but as a core competitive advantage. Your competitors are building their AI future on that solid foundation.